Hello Turtles, I'm Tim Bodette, and today I'll be sharing the nitty-gritty about my indie adventure through 2021 and how I crushed my $10,000 goal. First, I'll share the goal and details to be aware, then cover the plan versus what actually happened during 2021, and finally, jump to the expenses, income, and hours. My 2022 goal is even more ambitious. Back in December 2020, I made my first $10,000 after 3 full years of effort. You can check out that video in the description below. If you recall from that video, I declared a goal to make $10,000 in 2021, in a single year. I succeeded. Thanks to everyone who made that possible. Most of the money came from generous viewers supporting me on Twitch.tv or Patreon, and more than a third was from game sales of Accelerate. There are a few things I'd like to stress before diving deeper, like the fact that this $10,000 is the income or revenue from my business efforts, not the profit I walk away with. The business has expenses too, which exceed $4,500. Unfortunately, I can't share the exact figures or details due to NDAs or respective others. Just know that it would be inaccurate to consider my profits to be $5,500. The final point to understand is that I had a full-time job supporting me for the majority of 2021. My indie adventure began full-time around September because life threw a few curveballs and the risk was mitigated as much as possible. I cover that information in another video, but let's dig into the second $10,000 I've made as an indie developer. The plan I had at the start of 2021 was extremely different to what actually happened, with the exception of the first few months. I had just moved from Miami to Vermont and was keeping a lighter workload in January, focused mostly on this YouTube channel and learning video creation skills. February and March were set aside for the development and marketing of Accelerate, my first racing game released as a product, which sold 1,000 copies throughout the year. April was set aside as a slower transition month, then I'd be working on the next game to release over summer. This is where life had other plans and a few speed bumps to navigate, taking most of the summer to figure out. The compass was still spinning round and round in fall of 2021, which happens to be when my adventure began to receive my attention full time. As I began to create a concrete plan to follow, Ultimate Games approached me and mixed everything up. Ultimate Games is building a browser-based social gaming platform for high-quality games, and my game would be one of their launch titles. Looking back, I had naive plans on my part, thinking I could complete the project in 3 months, but the partnership opened doors, reduced risk, and allowed me to focus on game development. That was a very rough summary of 2021 and what projects had my focus. Next up is a whole bunch of numbers showing the expenses, income, and hours for the business where possible. Expenses. Starting the business has been less expensive, so far, than I was expecting it to be, but was far from free. Web hosting and domains, the Adobe Suite, extensions, hardware for testing, help from contractors, lawyers, accountants, and the list goes on. In total, $2,900 was spent on the cost of living for a very small portion of time, and $1,500 on business costs like the license, P.O. Box, web hosting, software and hardware, etc. The remaining expenses break down per project, with Accelerate costing the most at $2,300, Rally of Rockets climbing to $900, and $650 on a few other projects including equipment for this YouTube channel. As shared earlier, there are other expenses I can't give exact details of, and I wish to be as transparent as I can. Just know that this is higher than it seems. Income. February and March were crunch time to bring Accelerate to Steam and release my first game as an actual product. Reception was better than expected, and the sales continued well into the summer, with a few fairly big YouTubers making videos. With that said, my expectations were low, and Accelerate has a long way to go before becoming profitable, as you can learn about in this video covering my first 1,000 sales. Through Accelerate sales in 2021 on both itch.io and Steam, I received $3,840 after any platform cuts and before paying taxes. Game sales made 35% of the income, with the majority coming from streaming. I've been told this income does not count as a business in game development, but my opinion differs. A business in game development can make money from a variety of sources and not depend only on game sales. I have never streamed to make money, but I am finding it a large part of my dreams and business as a reality. During 2021, streaming pulled in $4,700, making it a substantial part of my income for that period. Related would be the Patreon campaign, where I share my business reports each month, totaling $1,220 for the year. The final bit of income is the interest gained from the savings account holding my runway for the adventure, which earned $970. Just remember, money can come from more than just game sales. My stream being one example, but I've also partnered with Ultimate Games. I will be bringing Rally of Rockets to their platform as a launch title, and they are offering me a small sponsorship. Due to the respect and non-disclosure agreement, I can't share those details. You should always keep an eye open for opportunities, as you never know where they might come from. As long as they align with your overall business efforts, that can be a win-win. Hours. To date, My Indie Adventure has earned just over $21,000 and spent $10,000. It took 4 years to reach this point, totaling 6,200 hours of effort. $1.77 an hour for the whole adventure so far. That might not sound like anything special, but it is extremely exciting for me as growing a business takes a lot of time. The first $10,000 took 3 years and 4,200 hours. The second $10,000 in 2021 was a single year and 2,000 hours. Hourly rate in that year was $322, which shows substantial growth. If you value money, then building your own business in games is not the place to find it. But to me, being my own boss and choosing what to work on, how to work on it, and who to work with is a trade-off that is worthwhile. Also, breaking down the income to an hourly rate like that is rarely useful. It isn't like I could put another 100 hours into my adventure and expect $322 from it. Getting paid for additional hours like that only works for a more typical job, which also generally comes with some safety and stability. And yes, I could earn more per hour flipping burgers or whatever job you wish to insert, at least today, but it wouldn't be my business. I wouldn't be making my own games or decisions, and that matters to me more than money. My next goal. In 2022, my primary objective is to earn more money than I spend on both business expenses and the cost of living. This will be an extremely challenging goal, perhaps even a dream, but by reducing costs where I can, looking out for opportunities, and pushing hard, maybe I'll get there. That said, it is a little more difficult to measure this publicly because of the sponsorship and working with more contractors where I can't share all the details. Conclusion. Being an indie game developer is difficult at the best of times. At this moment, game sales are not making the majority of my revenue, though still growing to make that happen. While breaking the total income down to an hourly rate is often depressing compared to other jobs, it can show overall trajectory and growth. Just remember, there is value looking for income outside of game sales when it can still help your bottom line. Help support my adventure with a purchase of Accelerate or the new expansion and race around with an egg on your car. It is extremely challenging to drive fast and keep the egg safe, but you'll be rewarded with better ranks on the leaderboards to brag about to your friends. The winter expansion also has slippery snow and ice physics and 100 snowmen to collect, so grab a copy, have some fun times, and support an indie developer. If you wish to support me for free, you can share this video with others, do the thumbs up or subscribing thing, and or leave a question below. Until later, turtles, have a good one. Learn how it took 3 years to get to the first 10,000.